Thank you. I had allowed Honorable Ssemujju as we were beginning.
So, Speaker, I want to thank you very much. The Attorney General has said the court martial cannot sit because of this judgment. For the court martial, they are not waiting for a decree. There are also no discussion with anyone else, but they immediately stopped functioning. And I want to thank him for release of prisoners, including Dr. Besigye, who is in Ruzira now illegally because there is no detention warrant. There, the DPP is realizing I have written to Supreme Court. Why didn't you render the same advice to the court martial that continue working as I liaise with the Supreme Court? Why do you think for them they needed to stop functioning immediately, but the others can continue disobeying? I am sympathetic to him. Maybe the same reason that court said military people cannot purport to be dispensing justice. Because the people were asking the Attorney General to advise, they have already expressed themselves. The CDF said Besigye can only get out of prison in a coffin. Really, what sort of advice can you give a person who thinks like that? Even if you are a professor of law times 3. The CDF, one of the supervisors of the General Court Martial, has said Dr. Besigye can only get out of prison in a coffin. He had even arranged to kill him. He had even identified a tree in Guru. And that's why I sympathize with you. Sometimes these jobs, these jobs, I think we may need one time the late Professor Kiduma Kubuya was asked to offer advice to the president, and he said in law, you may or may give no advice. That's how he used to talk. In this case, I choose to give no advice. That's what he told the president. One of the reasons he was eventually sacked. What advice do you give to a person who has made the statements that the CDF has made? And then the president who went to Luwero to fight, killing people because he wanted the power. Yes, in Luwero they were not hunting, they were killing. He even speaks about it, how he was robbing guns from barracks, from Kabamba to Masindi to Hoima. He writes up. Trouble is that you support him, but you don't read his book. Because if you did, all this information is there. He went to Luwero to kill. He killed, robbed the banks, including one in Kabale. And then he said he was fighting point number 1 of NRM is democracy. And he says judges don't rule. So who rules Uganda? The president and his son. That what they say is sacrosanct. Even the Attorney General, you are wasting your time. So when the Attorney General tells me understand whether you can render an advice to 2 military men who have already Mr. Speaker, the Constitution does not allow Parliament to take any decision whose effect will alter a judgment of court. In advising these military people who are not listening, the Attorney General said he was talking about an amendment. Can he tell us? And I listened to Honorable Fox Odoi very carefully, and I want to thank him. He said there's nothing to amend. But the Attorney General says they have advised him to amend. So what are you advising them to amend, sir? Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Taylor John.